Hi, I'm Carina Gardner. Today I'm going to show you how to put together my pop-up cards. I have lots of variations on this. So this is going to hopefully get you an idea of how to get one of these main cards together. There are lots in my silhouette shop, but you can see that it's held by a pop-up feature. It should lay flat. The main card is 4x6. With the fringe, it's more like 6x5. And here is one that's just 4x6. So that's a 4x6 size. I have several of these and they all pop up so beautifully like that and have great backgrounds to them and lots of room to write in if you're making it for a special somebody. So let's get started with this. Before I get started, I just want to let you know I am going to go through one main thing. So you can see, here are a few different cards, just so you can see. You'll notice that depending on the bottom piece I put on it, you could get a fringe. You could also get really teeny tiny, I'm not sure if you can see that, pieces like the balloons, and I have one I'm going to show you how I put together. But the bottom line is everything should fold beautifully. Like everything should fold very, very flat for you, and you shouldn't have a problem as you send it out. Okay, so even this one with the fringe, it's going to, be really easy for you to use. Now, I may have designs in the future that use multiple layers, and I'm sure I'll have a video for that, but the same thing, they should all fold very, very easily for you. And not all of them have that fringe end, and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, Mother, I love you. So I have, this is my inside piece, this blue piece right here. It has, and I know it because it has the slit in it. That's what tells me that it's the inside piece. The white piece is my outside piece. This piece right here, there's no slit in it, so we're gonna use this for the outside. You can go ahead and fold it over if you would like. Same with this blue piece. So you are going to be working, can you see here, the line goes here and the blank one is your top wall, okay? So I'm gonna put those aside. Now the main piece we're going to start working with is whatever the main cutout is that you have. This cutout is meant to guide you. I've tried to make it very, very obvious as you place the items where everything goes. You can see it's just outlined like right here. So go ahead and use stick glue for this. I like stick glue for most of this project. I use hot glue as well, but stick glue is nice because everything will lay flat, which is the point. We're trying to create this pop-up and keep everything nice and flat. And so the stick glue really does that for you. You don't have any issues with it. So try to place this in such a way. I like this piece in particular because it'll help move everything into place for you. And then same here, we're going to use this as our guide here. And these two flower pieces, I've already stuck a second piece here. So go ahead and glue that down because that's really, really simple. And then I do believe I have one more piece right here that gets glued in. So we have two pop-ups on this, and you should have cut out these fantastic pieces like this, okay? So these are awesome because they will allow you to pop up very easily. You're just gonna fold them into a little box, just like this, okay? And you have a little tab area. This tab area I recommend hot glue for, okay? So put a little hot glue on that and then bring that together and you should get this box. Now, it doesn't matter which side you use this box on because you can see it doesn't matter, it will lay flat. So go ahead and do that to your second one. I'm just gonna build that one out. Once those two pop-ups are made, you're just going to use those for one sign of Mother I Love You and one of your birds. Now here's the deal with the Mother I Love You. It is cut super duper tiny. Can you see how tiny that is? I really recommend vinyl. Vinyl cuts a little bit skinnier than paper. It's just a cleaner cut. And I use a little bit transfer tape paper. Okay, so I finished that. So that's gonna be our first one. It's gonna go over here. And then you also have a bird one. So you can kind of decide how tall or short you want to place this. Like if you want the bird one a little further over. Now this one in particular, the reason I'm showing it to you is because I do have two longer pieces, and a lot of the other ones, I have smaller pieces. If you want these to pop up at the same time, you need to make sure and place these in such a way so that they, you know, they're together, so they just squish down together at the same time. You can see this works pretty well right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue on the mother. Like that. Okay, and just make sure that you're good in terms of making it flatten out. And then with your bird, just checking the placement here, I kind of want it up here. Go ahead and assemble the card. So you're going to do that with this blue piece, and you have a piece that looks like this. So this piece is going to be folded forward like this, okay? And then this piece you are going to fold with all the pieces going back. Okay, so what it will look like is this would be tucked into that slit, and this will go here. But what we need to do is actually match up these two bottom pieces perfectly. That is a big deal because otherwise it won't fit in the slit. And you'll notice I'm using hot glue for this because it holds a little bit better, but you're gonna wanna match that up perfectly. That's the piece that matters the most right there. Okay, so now when I go to put it in, it should be two tabs together. I'll push it into the slit, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and you can close it if you want. It should lay flat. Open up this piece and then use tape. I think tape works the very best for this. Of course you could hot glue it down if you wanted, but I just want it to be flat. Okay, so once those are taped down, then you can see once you come on this side, what I actually like to use is stick glue to begin with. So I'll do stick glue on this bottom, just the tab, okay? And then I'll fold it up so I can see, you can see right here where it is supposed to go, but then I will push it down flat and make sure it really is in place, okay? And then same deal, you can open it up and push it down flat, and it should stay in the correct place. Does that make sense? Not pretty, okay? So from here, we're going to glue it to the outside piece, okay? So here's your outside piece. Sometimes you can go ahead and put your stuff on, but I'm gonna do that last. So what you wanna do is make sure that this fits perfectly inside. It should fit like literally like a glove, okay? And if you fold it down, you can see that it's a little bit off. I've got to squish it in because it wants to pull out, okay? So you can see how tight I'm trying to keep it here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put a tiny bit of glue right on the edge, okay? We're kind of just protecting the pop-up mechanism from the outside and cleaning this up a bit, okay? Okay, so now you have your pop-up feature, right? But you need to put something cute on, the outside, okay? So you can decide if you want to make this cute on the outside first or if you want to add the fringe. I'm going to show you this. I generally usually put the fringe on last, but I want to show you putting it on first. Now this fringe is meant for a lot of things. First of all, it hides this. You could have made the card longer, or I could have made the card longer, but what I found is there's always this little edge, and I didn't like it. So instead I added this fringe, which allowed me to do some other nice things, like a fringe that like has cuts in it, you know, like a true fringe, whereas this is just mostly a cover up. So I just put a tiny bit of glue all the way across like this, okay? And then when I open it up on the other side, I then can add a tiny thin thing of glue on this side and close it up. And then you just have this nice, pretty edge. I also like that you can add this bit of color to it. That's really quite nice. And so I have two for you, and not every single card has this fringe, by the way. It's very card dependent. So don't worry if you have one that doesn't have a fringe. I'm gonna show you one without a fringe in just a second. Now the other thing about this card that I haven't talked about yet is that I have left you a lot of space right here so you can actually write something if you're sending this out, okay? Okay, there we go. There's the front of our card. Now let's go ahead and finish the outside and the inside. There are a couple of detail pieces that are really nice. I have a second Mother I Love You piece here that I'm going to really quick add. Okay, so you can put this over the fringe, which is what I'm gonna do. And you have one of these pieces, and then I believe you have a bird on the front, okay? So you can add all of these pieces. I'm just gonna glue them all down. Now you'll notice you should have about 3 more leaves. That's just to add some dimension to this. So all I'm gonna do is add them to the back here. You can see that you can just glue them nicely, and it just adds this extra little bit. Now the nice thing is if you add your fringe second, you can make it go up into the fringe. I didn't do that necessarily with all of mine, but feel free to add more leaves if you would like, or other items for the back. Okay, all done. Isn't that so pretty? Okay, so let's talk about some of these other cards. You'll notice like some of them don't have backgrounds on them, and some of them have really tiny things. I just wanted to show you. So this rainbow card that I have, I just adore. I think it's so cute. And it doesn't have the fringe on it. It doesn't need it because it's not quite as tall, unless you want to add it from one of your other files because you're trying to make them uniform in size. But once again, this one has some background pieces that I haven't glued on yet. And it has a piece of vinyl that is very, very tiny. So I wanted to show that to you. To try as hard as you can to like make it pop up. It just won't. You need to have it actually stuck somewhere. So I have some little balloon pieces. You can see I have hearts over here, but I have some balloon pieces I want to add. All you're going to do is, I don't even need transfer tape for this. It's just skinny and little. Just find a spot for it, and I think mine is going to probably be here, over here on the edge, okay? And then I'm just going to use where these balloons end up, like, you know, like here, to finish this out. Now, I've got a heart here. I think I have my heart on the side, and these are meant to be pop-ups. If you wanted to glue them straight down, you could, but I like the pop-up feature. So there are these teeny tiny little pieces like this. They're a little bit smaller than the two I showed you for the Mother's Day one. And you have a choice here, okay? So these are cool because they can be used either flat, so that they only pop up this much, or they can be used vertically, and so they could be popped out really far out if you wanted. But it's totally your choice. Like if you wanted it way popped out, you could have it up here. I think for the most part, I'm gonna keep it pretty small, popped out, okay? And actually this heart one is even smaller. I think it's hard to cut on my machine though, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just trim down this one. If you ever find one that you're kind of like, oh, I wish that was a smaller pop-up, all you have to do is trim it down like I just did, okay? You don't want them much smaller than that because then they're hard to manage, okay? So I want this to go this way, so I'm gonna add a little bit of hot glue. Right there. And then place the heart on it. Okay, and then same with these other ones. I have a couple of pop-up pieces here that I'm just going to glue. And the goal is just to make sure that everything will pop up nicely, which it should if you just laid them all flat up and down. Okay, so if I fold this now, it should land really nicely, and when you open it up, it should pop out. I use vinyl here for the Summer Forever just because the lettering is so small. I just really recommend that. And that's it. You can get these files at Silhouette under my name, Carina Gardner, or on my website at carinagardner.com. Some of these files might be there. Most of them are in the Silhouette shop. And if you are not part of my VIP group, I have a Silhouette VIP group, and I send free files every week to you. It's totally free to join. Just go to carinagardner.com and click on VIP.